Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. Yeah, I pulled the switcheroo. I couldn't find my Star Wars number 4. So there was 3 locations where it could be. I was looking for it, couldn't find it, so I pulled this comic out. You'll be happy with this. This is just a comic, one of the comics that just still stuck with me my entire life, and you'll see why once I open it up. I think I might have done this for Sunday Comics before, but back then nobody was watching. So let's check out the chat. We got What Geeks Do Network. Good morning. How you doing? Thank you for the opening music. I love it. I love it. Would you mind doing a closing one? I'll give you all the credit in the world. I mean, DM me. I'll pay you. Good day, Matt. Matt's here. How you doing, Matt? How you doing? What's going on, Matt? You're up early? Oh, no, you're not. This is normal time. This is normal family time to wake up, right? Sunday. I lost track of time, days, time, space, and dimension these days. Time has no meaning when you with a broken neck. And it's funny. I just got a call yesterday from a friend to do a real severe side job. I was like, did you not know I have a broken neck? I'm not climbing up on your roof and working on your power lines, things like that. They're like, really? I didn't know. How you doing, Matt? How's everything? Good to see you. Sorry, I haven't been showing up on Monday nights, Matt. I got friends coming over. I just, with sitting home all day long, I just really enjoy my friends coming over and playing board games and having pizza, just really, really enjoying it. So, they're coming over early because I don't have to work. Hey, chat. How you doing, Zach? I got my blessings. Should be getting a new computer soon. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. And I don't mean to impose. Of course, I'll reimburse you. I don't ask for anything for free, But I love that opening. It's just so catchy. Love it. So how you doing, everybody? What's going on? Again, I was going to do Star Wars number 4, but I can't find it. I don't know where it went. And if you watched last night, I did a real fun stream. Marcus was in. How you doing, Marcus? I just, I do a series called Comics Great. Comics Great, because comics are great. And we kind of, I don't know, I think this indie sphere is kind of losing track of how great comics are. So I figured, when I want to do something to celebrate comics, I'll do a Comics Great stream. And I did about the Elementals. I think the Elementals are one of the most important comics that people kind of forgot about or never knew about. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to show covers to comics and just talk about them, talk about the memories, talk about personal feelings, or, whatever you want to talk about the artist. And I invite people to join in. And Fabrizio Aiello jumped and showed 10. Some of his comics I never had, and I think a few of them I've never even seen before. I love that, talking about why they were personal. And it was also kind of cool because him being an artist, the creator, writer of Horace H. Hoover, fabulous comic. It was neat to see his perspective. So there we go. So I pulled this comic out, and now I'm going to talk about it. All right, we got some people in here. As always, once I open up the comic, I'll talk about the comic, and then I'll address the chat at the end of every page. So here we got this. You can see Don Perlin artwork, 1978. Still only 35 cents. You know what that means when it says still only 35 cents? That means DC went up to 40 cents. And Marvel was twisting the horns. Hey, my buddy Jimmy. Hey, Jimmy, I'm listening, but washing the cars at the same time. Cover idea was pretty cool. Did you see last night? This is my friend Jimmy, one of my childhood friends. Hey, Crenshaw. Good morning, you rad people. Rad. You're rad. Jimmy, you're washing that electric car. Make sure it's not plugged in. We got to go to lunch later. All right, so here we go. We got Ghost Rider over here. Don Perlin, the demon within. So this is the second part of a 3-part story. Okay, so let's open that up. And we got the Amazing Spider-Man in action figure, and I always say the in action figure because this thing had no articulation. When you bought it, it was a plastic mold like this, but there was motors inside. So you put batteries in it. back then they didn't have like USB chargers or anything like that. You put batteries in it, and the motor would pull this string. So you put this heavy rubber like string with a rubberized web, and it would simulate sticking and pulling, and then it had little holes in the hands. You could plug in a flashlight. That's one of the things people forget. Spider-Man, like, he had this like flashlight that he would blind to people. It kind of got memory hold. And then you'd plug him into this helicopter, and the batteries in him would power the thing. I never wanted it. I mean, as much as I like Spider-Man, if you can't move the arms, twist the legs, what good is a superhero toy? All right, so let's check out the comic in general. I love these little catch you up super secret origin things up here. The saga of Johnny Blaze. Once, not so long ago, he was the spawn of. Now I'm saying it wrong. The saga of Johnny Blaze. Once, not so long ago, he was the pawn of Satan. He's since been freed, but for reasons he cannot yet comprehend, he still possesses Satan-spawn strength and the searing touch of hellfire. Whether these supernatural powers are a blessing or a curse, he does not know yet. The Ghost Rider. Okay, so this is written by Roger McKenzie and Don Perlin as co-plotter, Don Perlin being the artist, Jim Novak letterer, Bob Sharon colorist, Roger Stern editor, and Jim Shooter editor-in-chief. You'll always hear that name, Jim Shooter. Jim Shooter, to me, he was in charge of Marvel at the high point of Marvel Comics. So just look at this. What's going on? The Boy Who Lived Forever. Let me bring this. So last issue, Johnny Storm found this guy in a covered wagon pushing this kid around, and this guy was warning him to stay away. And they all got captured by this kid. Who is this kid? Well, they kind of imply that he's possessed by Satan, but they outright say that he's a mutant. So he was a mutant born in the cowboy days. They tell his origin in this issue, so I'll say. But he gets the jump on Ghost Rider. These two start fighting because he thinks that Johnny Storm is making a claim on his gold. They fight. They get the jump on, and then this kid gets to jump on him and catches him. Sounds like a good origin for a warlock or a cleric within an evil domain in D&D. Okay, totally utubular. I like that. That's pretty clever. Totally utubular. Hey, Afro SF, the way by pronouncing all this. Greetings. I'll just say, Afro, how you doing? How's everybody doing on this? Well, I don't know. I woke up at 6 o'clock this morning. And usually I'm like waking up like 9 o'clock, and I've been up for a few hours looking for that freaking comic. All right, so here we got just total insanity happening over here. So this is the boy's father, and the father is just a slave to the boy. The boy's got these powers, and he's just overriding his muscle control, and the boy's doing whatever he says. The father, while Johnny Blaze, the Ghost Rider, was fighting with him, the kid was freaked out because he never had anything resist his power before. So Ghost Rider, understandably, was a little bit harder to control than the average bear. So the kid was distracted. The father tried to kill him to free himself. He's like, you tried to kill me. You tried to kill me. He goes, now I'm going to make you. He's like, don't do this. Don't do this. I'm sorry. And boom, he shoots the gun. And the bullet didn't lodge. The kid has powers. Of course I did, Father, because I willed it. I had to teach you a lesson. I never intend to harm you. Why, if anything did happen to you, it would just break Mother's heart. John, dearest Jonathan, after all, haven't I taken care of you for all these years? And I'll take care of you forever. And then here comes Mother. You know, how horrific is that? Oh my God, look at that. John, hold me, darling. Love me. So this little demon kid, his mother's long dead. The father is a slave to his will, and just imagine what is the French term? Infant terrible, the spoiled brat kid. Just imagine if you were born a mutant with like these ultimate powers. So this kid was born a genius, So he's a mutant. He was born a genius with telekinetic and like mind control powers. So he just got whatever he wanted. Got whatever he wanted. He's the end result of participation trophies and not spanking your kids. And in this particular case, he couldn't spank him because the kid was always in control. They came from inner space, the Micronauts. Look at that. Don't you want to read that comic? Don't you want to read that? That is just awesome. Michael Golden artwork. That is just so good. So good. And I got to say, this Micronauts comic instilled a love of like paradox time travel that lasts till this day. So here we go. So Johnny Storm is freaking out. He's like, "By all that's holy, this is a mockery." I love this little soliloquy over here. By all that's holy, and not much, and much that is not. This is a mockery of death, and worse, a mockery of hell itself, and I will not allow it. Look at this. I look at this, and it's just like it must hurt to be Ghost Rider. And I tell you this: if I was to ever write Ghost Rider, I would bring up a couple of things. First, Johnny Storm does not want to become Ghost Rider. Why? Because he burns to death. Every time he becomes Ghost Rider, Johnny Storm burns to death. It's painful. It's horrible. He's burning to death. Ghost Rider is dead. He's an undead, horrible creature. You know what I mean? He's not just a superhero who looks like a skull. He's so literally Johnny Blaze burns to death every time he turns into Ghost Rider. You got to drive that home. And then when he turns back into, he is born again, which is also painful. So it's got to just be like this horrible experience to become Ghost Rider and then to become Johnny Storm, or Johnny. I keep saying Johnny Storm, Johnny Blaze. So he's just like, this is horrible. So what does he do? He just blasts bomb in hellfire. I burned once, demon. I do not fear your flames now. And he's like, oh yeah, I will not be denied. And look at this. He's just burning this animated corpse, throwing this corpse at the mother, and then this spoiled brat kid is just like, you can't hurt me, demon, but you hurt mother, and you'll pay. Whenever I see like little kids like mother, it always instills like horror and freak out. But look at this. Oh, you can't see? Just look at this. Just the way he stands, the way his face, like this, he's in pain. Maybe not at that point, because now he's fully undead. What do you guys do? Do you think Ghost Rider and Johnny Storm are two separate beings? Like Banner and Hulk have two different personalities, even though they're the same physical being. But I'm willing to accept that Johnny Blaze and Ghost Rider might be different entities. For some reason, I'm having maybe this is too close. Yeah. Okay. Where would I be without tech? If it wasn't for technical difficulties. And there we go. Sorry about probably getting everybody motion sickness. Good art and storytelling. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it doesn't help that this is probably my most reread comic of all time. Johnny Blaze, not Storm. I know, guys. I know. He's undead. She's undead. It's a repulsion of himself. Or is it more? Does he hate the twisted relationship? These are the philosophical questions. And this, I don't know, this kind of reminded me of like the Batman 66. Same ghost time, same ghost channel. Hey, Grey Wolf. You can tell I'm a little bit more animated than I normally am on these Sunday comics. That's because I've been up for hours. A man called Nova, Captain Marvel, Hulk. It's funny because even as a kid, I just imagined like I'm just laughing because I'm thinking, as a kid, whenever I saw this ad, I would giggle because I thought like, what if they were all just dancing? Like this is a disco, it's dark and the light, that disco ball, and these stars are just like lights. Look at Hulk just like dancing. Captain Marvel's like, I'm free. Look at this. This guy's definitely dancing. You know what I mean? I don't know. It just amuses me, makes me laugh. Fun Factory ad. This to me is just classic comics. This is just classic. Matt, are you still here? Matt, I want to get you to do an ad for my next comic. I messaged you before, but if you're still here, Matt, chime in. I know Matt does kind of drive-bys. I thought I skipped the page. So now this kid is causing like a tempest, just throwing everything. Oh, and why is that? Because he got shot. You know, they shot at him. You know, they didn't realize he was an undead freakazoid, so they're shooting at him. Storm over here, and I love this. So this kid is entrapped in this sphere of his own making. It's some sort of like personification of his psionic will, and he needs to keep that there because as powerful as his mind is super powerful. He's super intelligent, you know. So he's like Xavier Reed Richards level of intelligence, but he also has the expanded mental capabilities. But his physical form is very weak, and he's susceptible to colds and illness and stuff. So he's literally a boy in a plastic bubble, even though it's not plastic. So he's using his mental abilities on Ghost Rider. Look at that face. Look at that face. Oh my God. I used to draw that face over and over again. I remember one year for Christmas, my parents were like trying to encourage my artistic abilities. Believe it or not, at one time people thought I could draw and have artistic talent. They bought me an easel, canvas, and paints. And the first thing I painted was this face. I literally opened up to this panel and paint. My parents like, we spent all this money on gifts, and he freaking paints a flaming skull. I had it hanging up in my room for years. I ended up throwing it away. When I got older and I realized how poor it was, I'm so mad that I threw it away. I should have just kept it. So he realizes he can't mind control Johnny Blaze, Ghost Rider, so he telekinetically throws this lump of machinery at him. And that surprises Ghost Rider. You know? Hey, we got a comment over here by Zach Dan. Heroes often act differently when under the mask, a different persona. I imagine the difference between Blaze and Ghost Rider would be greater, but still not necessarily two different souls. Good point. Good point. I mean, they did say that he was the demon Zarathos. So, like, you know, like Hulk and Banner are you know, like I would imagine that Banner and Hulk are the same person, same consciousness, same soul. But when he gamma irradiated, I mean, we know we're talking about a ridiculous premise and a ridiculous, but you know, whatever. But if we are to accept that his body swells up and his muscle proportions and his muscular and even his skeleton changes shape, we could also say the same thing happens to his brain. His brain changes shape, and the shape of the brain causes difference in personalities. You know, so I you know, and then we got Billy Batson, Shazam. He's Captain Marvel. They're the same person, but with magical, gifted intelligence and wisdom. So that's why I can accept different personalities. But in Ghost Rider, I think it's pretty explicit that they're different people. It's Johnny Blaze possessed by the demon Zarathos. I don't know. What do you guys think? This is the kind of stuff I like talking about. What do you want? What do you want? One dog's going one way, one dog's going the other way, and this guy's in the middle going, "What do you want from me?" Do you think comics have lost something of value with catchphrases disappeared? I don't know. You kind of blindsided me there. I like catchphrases, but I know the Brits kind of make fun of Americans for our silly catchphrases. You know, if you watch extras, they're like, it's you know, are you having a laugh? You're having a laugh. You know, like, but I like catchphrases, but there's got to be more to it. Like Saturday Night Live just became like catchphrases and whatever. But I mean, I love things like Ben Grimm. What a revolt in development! It's clobbering time. You know, my Aunt Petunia. You know, but it works for Ben Grimm. But I wouldn't want Superman to be like, it's super time. You know what I mean? There you go. There's my new catchphrase. It's super time. I'm going to say that 3 times a page in Heroic Tales, starting with issue 2. At first, John Ghost Rider was the same. Yeah, at first, and then they evolved. But I will say that if you remember the Hulk and the first 6 issues of the Hulk, and then the Hulk kind of got folded into what was it, Astonishing Tales. If you remember the Hulk, he turned into the Hulk at night. And then he needed the machine to transform into the Hulk. And then became Rage. Like, they didn't know what to do with the Hulk. He kind of changed, and then when the rage and anger became the trigger, that's where the Hulk crystallized, and it stayed like that ever since. Ghost Rider, if you read Marvel Spotlight 5, Ghost Rider, and then the early Ghost Rider, not only did he have like if you remember, Ghost Rider became Ghost Rider at night, and then he becomes Ghost Rider only when evil is present, and now he has the ability to transform at will. So I don't think they knew what to do with Ghost Rider. They just came with this concept, but it was like not fully developed yet. It was still like the clay was still soft. It didn't harden yet. So yeah, they were the same person, and then later on they evolved in mythology. So yeah, I can't argue with that. But just like so many characters were different in their initial. Look at the Punisher. He was hired by the Jackal to kill Spider-Man. That doesn't sound like Frank Castle that we know and love. It's magic, so science doesn't apply. Absolutely. Great Caesar's ghost. Yeah, that's a Superman catchphrase, right? Doesn't Jimmy Olsen say something? Does he say like "jumping Jiminy" or something like that? Jimmy Olsen has a catchphrase, right? Me and my Hellboy mug. Everybody, lift up your coffee, and when Heroic Tales is done shipping and everybody's got their pint glasses, I'd like to do a stream where we all have a patriarch beer together. Superman does say Great Scott. Yes, he does. He does. And I always wonder, where does that come from? Does anybody know the origin of Great Scott? And who's this Scott and what makes him so great? Not everyone needs a catchphrase. Certain personalities work better with catchphrases. Catchphrases, yeah. The patriarch's catchphrase is going to be "Go go golly gee," and he's "Go go golly gee," everybody. So let's cross the page. Let's. I love this stuff. This is the kind of stuff that's lost when you slab a comic. All these silly ads. I had this, believe it or not. This was it was like a squeeze tube, and if you took the tube and you pushed it up against a wall or a table or something like that, you squeezed, it was like it was like a very viscous liquid, that kind of like hardened a little bit, so it was liquid as long as no oxygen touched it, and then you pull it like that, it would make like a spit line, like a long snot out of your nose. Like, remember when you're little kids, you're like, and then you put these little Spider-Man things on it, and they would slide. It was really weird. I really like to look into it, but I had them. They were fun. Scots are just naturally great. Oh, yeah, it was Jiminy Cricket, right? Yeah. And then Snapper Carr would snap his fingers. Great Krypton and Row. Yeah, Superman does have a bunch of catchphrases. You're right. Best catchphrase, smooth. Our Jiminy Cricket was, that makes sense. Jiminy Cricket. And Jiminy Cricket was the conscience in Peter Pan. I wonder if that was, wow. I wonder if that was the origin for Jiminy Cricket, that, Jiminy Cricket became, because Judas Priest is like a weird substitute for screaming Jesus Christ. People don't want to take the Lord's name in vain, kind of thing. The Jiminy Cricket, I didn't know that. So I wonder what came first. Jiminy Cricket as a replacement, or Jiminy Cricket, the character in Pinocchio. Cowabunga dudes. Holy Moly was Shazam, Captain Marvel's. Yeah. Holy moly. And yeah, why I oughta. Okay, so now we're going to go into the creepiest origin of all time. So now we got, this is what this kid, like I said, he's a super genius with telekinesis. So he built this like floating drone-like ship, and then the ship is going to this underground base somewhere in the Mesa, and like, this the unnamed Southwest. Remember, Ghost Rider and Hulk kind of had the same stomping ground, like Utah, Arizona, Nevada kind of area. And they're prisoners The kid's a sadist. He doesn't want to kill anybody. He wants them around for torture. So now the little boy's father is telling him this story. Does it have a year? It doesn't say what year it is, but look, just look at this. So you're about to. I'm purposely hiding the next page because you're about to see one of the creepiest panels in all of comic book history. So, they had a baby. The day he was born, there was a storm afoot. The midwife said, "By the saints, the child's eyes glow like fire, like brimstone." So, and at the stroke of midnight, he was born. Poor Katrina, Anna's midwife. I don't think she ever understood. None of us did. And then Anna. And I remember she pushed past me and ran screaming from the house. And then she went and told all the people that the son of Satan was born. Now, again, they kind of say, they literally say he was a mutant. But, this is the old frontier times. So, of course, it's witchcraft kind of thing. Shortly before dawn, the villagers came, with pitchforks and everything like that. And father came out. It's just like, it's a baby. And don't do it. And they come in and they beat the mother to death. Just beat the mother to death. And then look at that. Tell me that isn't the creepiest panel in all of comics. The little baby with the glowing eyes and then that shadow. So the baby was just born an hour ago. Oh my God. He's hanging out with the dead body of his mother. Oh man. That is just the creepiest. All My Stars and Garters was used by the Beast. Yep. Just All My Stars and Garters. I'm trying to think what other good catchphrases were there. Colossus used to say something, right? And then the Wolverine is, "I'm the best at what I do, and what I do isn't nice," which he had to say like every 2 issues. The Beast had garters. We wouldn't know they were furry. That is creepy, isn't it? That is the creepiest panel in all of comic books. Oh my God. I'm not joking when I say that this panel gave me nightmares as a kid. And then he used his powers and turned them all into H.P. Lovecraft monsters. Look at this. So the little kid transformed. Now, mom is dead, but the little kid's instinct for mommy doesn't resurrect her, but animates her corpse, and so now she's dead. The husband sees her, and then here is the second creepiest panel of all time. The wandering, whatever. Look at her, just rotting away. And now the kid is realizing that his physical immune system is not good. It's in role-playing stats, he took all of his stats and front-loaded his mental capabilities at the detriment of his physical attributes. So he's super genius. He's got super powers, but his ability to resist germs and things like that are bad. So here's where they say that he's a mutant. So the kid is using his mental abilities to hide himself. So for 200, 300 years, they were kind of vague on he remained hidden. Meanwhile, he built robots. He had the robots build this gigantic lair, and he just hung out afraid of society. And he kind of wanted to stay away from Xavier. He developed the ability to shield himself from other super beings. I like that they included that in here. It adds a little bit of it's witchy poo nonsense. It's satanic nonsense, but at the same time they tie it in with the rest of Marvel continuity. I love tight continuity. I like the ambiguity. Is it mutant powers? Is it infernal? Is it a bit of both? Right. And the same with Scarlet Witch. The Scarlet Witch is supposed to be a mutant, and it's the fact that she causes bad luck that ties it with like hexes or witchcraft. And now, of course, they just go all, witchy poo on us. Sweet Christmas. That's probably one of the best ones. The patriarchs can't stand back, ladies. Let a man handle this. Oh man, you're hired. You're writing issue 3. Let a man handle this. You're beautiful when you're angry. Okay, Toots. That's funny. Good morning, Johnny. Good morning, Tony. How you doing? How's everybody? Tony, you're the one from Albuquerque, right? I was just talking about hurricane burritos last night. Oh man, I missed the food in Albuquerque. Superman had this, looks like a job for up and away. Great Krypton and great Row. Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right. Stand back, ladies. Let a man handle this. This looks like a job for a man. You could also say, is it that time of the month? Look at these. Shogo Warriors, Micronauts. You can subscribe to these. Letters pages. This is the kind of stuff that you just don't see anymore. Letters pages. I always like to look to see. Beppe Santini. Why does that name ring a bell? Beppe Santini. I think he was didn't he own like a comic distributor? The next issue is another one of my favorite issues of all time. It was an inventory issue. They were trying out Jim Starlin, and Jim Starlin, I don't know why, but they threw in this inventory issue that it doesn't even fit in. Ghost Rider's powers work different. It's from an earlier time of Ghost Rider. He had a different motorcycle, but oh my God, it is so good. If you ever read Death Race with Ghost Rider, oh my God, it's one of the best comics. I'm such a Jim Shooter fanboy. And then we got Pizzazz. Then we got Spider-Man over here. We got look. These are all the Spider-Man comics that they had. What's funny here is the Spider-Man with Captain Britain. This is the Marvel team up. This is the first run comic. And if you watched last night, Fabrizio Aiello had the Marvel Tales, which is the reprint of this comic. This is, you can see Captain Britain with the rod and Spider-Man holding the rod. So these were all the Spider-Man comics. Marvel Tales, which was the reprint, The Amazing Spider-Man, Marvel Team Up, Spidey Super Stories, and Peter Parker, The Spectacular Spider-Man. So before I turn the page, let me address if it works if he's talking to actual ladies or guys he wants to belittle. Pip's, what would you call him? Little pal or something? What would be like a tough guy name to be rude? Patriarch's a good guy. He's very caring. If you notice, there's 2 villains in issue number 1. He uses their first names, like he tries to like de-escalate the situation. He's not. He's a dad. Dad doesn't want to come in and start smacking. You know what I mean? Although sooner or later he will. Gotta elevate. Start out low and elevate. Heroic Tales comic book on Indiegogo. Thank you, Marcus. Thank you. I forgot to even advertise my own comic. So you know what? I will take your lead and I will show this because I really, really love this. I know everybody's probably sick of seeing it by now, but just there's the regular cover. That's the back cover. And then look at that Mike Gustovich cover. I love this. I love this. I love that like skewed perspective. It's just so good. It's just so good. And this is and the only place to get this is on Indiegogo right now. So I just absolutely love that. So let's finish addressing the chat. Hey, Eric the Guapo, how you doing? How's everybody? Is that the Patriot? Yeah, we were talking about catchphrases, and then somebody suggested that this is a job for a man. Step aside, ladies. This is a man's job. You're beautiful when you're angry, I'm enjoying this while drinking coffee and eating the Frontier. Oh, the Frontier cinnamon roll. Are you in the Frontier right now, or are you home? Black Panther was always on about T'Chaka's eyes and great T'Chaka. Yeah. And Odin or Thor, odds bones, right? There's a lot of good catchphrases in comics. So, they're commiserating in the jail cell. The father's like, you have to kill my son. You have to kill him. And Johnny Blaze like, I don't kill. I'm a good guy. He's like, you wuss. And he just starts beating Ghost Rider with his shackles until Ghost Rider just, and again, if I was writing Ghost Rider, I would make it apparent. Like Johnny Blaze should be like, no, I don't want to turn it to Ghost Rider. I don't want to turn it to Ghost Rider, because he literally burns to death. He burns to death. Every time he becomes Ghost Rider, it's literally dying, burning to death. Painful, horrible burning to death. And then he's Ghost Rider, this demon. And I love this. Fight me, damn you. Fight. Yes, I will fight. I will fight. And when I'm done with you, no, not you. I will fight the child. So he uses his flame powers. To free the father. He burns a hole through. And I love, at this point, he uses Hellfire to create this motorcycle. So at this point, this motorcycle is not a physical manifestation. It's not made of matter. It's made of, well, I guess it becomes physical, but it's fire that congeals into this motorcycle. So he could use it. He could ride up walls. He could defy physics, because this is a mystic. It's a thing of mystic hellfire, and he rides through the wall. And Ghost Rider is just you could just hear like this, like the Motorhead blasting as he's just going down this complex, blasting through walls, knocking things over. Look at this. This red eyes, just fire by the Dark Lord. It cannot be. Oh, you're home? Okay, you're home. Do they still have that weird old machine that made the tortillas? I love that. That Black Bolt's catchphrase was, you're a good artist for your age. You can always go back to it for fun. I'll tell you about some of your pictures later. Dark Warrior, Captain Strength. Yeah. Jimmy's was one of my adult friend now, but he was also a childhood friend. We used to draw together. Jimmy used to encourage me to draw. I mean, I was never good enough to do anything professional, but good for a fifth grade kid who liked comics. Hercules used to say zounds, yeah, like a Shakespearean exposition. How desperate do you have to be to swing on Ghost Rider? He's desperate. That's exactly it. He is desperate. He's being kept alive and tortured by his sadistic son, for 300 years. This guy's had enough. He's insane with desperation. You hit the nail on the head. Summon Steed Sweet Ride spell. Yeah. Like, isn't that like what paladins can do? Name Imperious Rex. Hey, you surface dwellers, get away from my ocean. Yeah, Imperious Rex is another one. Yeah, I forgot about that one. Johnny Blaze has no incentive to wear clean underwear if everything burns up. But that this leather outfit survives. So like, this must be like mystically treated or whatever, or it's just whatever. But like, yeah, everything, like his wallet, his hair. Like, I would have him, if I was writing Johnny, like, he would come back bald every day, because his hair literally burnt off, his eyelashes burnt off. He would look freaky, and then you could see, like, just he would resist to become Ghost Rider. He'd go, like, do the whole David Banner thing, working in a diner, washing, and you'd see his hair, like, it would become my length, and then you could tell how long it's been since he was Ghost Rider by the length of his hair, and then he'd be like, oh no, like, he has no choice but to literally burn to death. That's how desperate it would be. He wouldn't join a super team where it's just like, hey, look, Paste Pot Pete's robbing a bank. Okay, I'll burn to death and stop Paste Pot Pete. He wouldn't do anything like that. But what do I know? I'm just a freak. Waters was I See You. What is that? I don't get this. Oh, the Watchers is I See You. Okay. I always love the original Johnny Blaze Evil Knievel jumpsuit. Yeah, this costume is, I mean, right here on the cover, you can't get a better look at this costume than that. That is just awesome. Am I trying to make Johnny Blaze a skinhead also? Well, not a political skinhead, but just, his hair burns off every day. When Iron Man first got started, was oh my heart. And then Red Fox suit up. Yeah. It was really weird when Tony Stark was like, Elizabeth, this is the big one. And then we got this wonderful ad. Check out this ad by Zek. Look at that. Doug Mensch and Mike Zek bring you the hands of Shang-Chi, master of Kung Fu. This is just awesome. Good stuff. His father was Fu Manchu, but they can't do it in the movies. And now he goes to like the main throne room of this devil kid, and he finds out that the old prospector guy, the old prospector guy was also a mutant. He had the ability to detect metals. So he stumbled upon this lair because he found all this metal underground, and he just was like, oh, it's got to be gold. So that's how him and the demon kid got to some sort of like psychic battle. And then the little demon kid turned him into this tree. And as if it's not bad enough that he's a hungry tree. So hungry enough to eat a demon, So Ghost Rider ain't having any of that. Oh, you can't see. I don't know why. Am I sitting like too close? So Ghost Rider is not having any of that, and this kid is just yelling. So Ghost Rider shoots fire at him, and he's able to manipulate the hellfire. And then what is he doing? He's using his mental abilities to just scan. He's miserable too. The old prospector is like, I can't live like this. So what does he do? The kid picked this area because there's oil under the ground. So the kid uses, again, he's a super genius. So he uses the oil to power all these machines. So the old prospector, causes a geyser. Ghost Rider sets the oil on fire. And Iron Man, he is funny. A little blessed. How many of you guys know what this is? I'll talk about it later, but let me know in the chat if you know what that is. Iron Man stops a bank heist with Twinkies. I mean, if I was gonna ram my truck into Fort Knox to steal all the gold, I would be satisfied with Twinkies. I can totally understand that. So then we see what happens. The oil blows up, the whole facility blows up, and then look at this. It's triumphant. This is just like a precursor to the cool guys walking away from explosions. Look at Ghost Rider. Airbound, on fire, just boom, explosion of Ghost Rider just comes riding out, checking it out. Look at the high, what do they call those in the backgrounds? We used to call them sissy bars, but what do they call them? I don't even know. Backrest, whatever, but it's like reminiscent of a trident over here. It's just so cool. And he's just watching. And then what does he see? The father is decaying already. That trope of a corpse, the 300-year-old corpse. Peace at last. Just an awesome freaking comic. And then we got Kiss. We got the Kiss 4 solo albums. I tell you, out of all 4 of these albums, the only song I can remember is the Ace Frehley Back in the New York Groove. Just so good. Just so good. So here we got Ghost Rider over here. Who's sending me messages? I swear, nobody sends me messages. I go live and it's messages all day long. Okay. When Iron Man first got, my heart. Johnny Blaze is Johnny Blaze. Johnny Blaze is my Ghost Rider, without a doubt. Without a doubt. And I don't understand why they changed him to Danny Ketch. I don't like, I don't understand the need. Because usually when they change a superhero, it literally is like they change the race, they change the ethnicity, or you know what I mean? Like they change Hal Jordan into Jon Stewart or Kyle Rayner or whatever. But I don't understand. Was Johnny Blaze like, why change Johnny Blaze to Danny Ketch? I don't understand the rationale. Like, who's the other guy now? Reyes. I, I I don't know. Like when we learned that Wolverine's claws hurt him every time he's yeah yeah. Wolverine's knuckles healed, and then when he popped out, he was literally cutting out. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I have a there's a bunch of bad guys in my superhero role playing game, and one of them was called Tundra, and I'm not going to get into how, but there's a common origin that all meta beings have in my world, and when other people tried to replicate, they did it imperfectly. And Tundra is this ice being, and he hates his power because he has these ice powers. But what is he himself is freezing cold, so he's always trying to go to the nearest heat source, because he's literally freezing. So like that's one of the ways that they imprisoned him, is they basically put him in a warm prison with heaters and everything like that. And he's like, ah. And then there was a guy called the Burning Man who burst into flame, and since the process was done improperly, he was burning, just freaking out, burning, and they tried to extinguish him, and he can't, and his skin would secrete acid, and his like ashes and stuff like that would be this like grease, like almost like napalm, and he just went insane with pain. One of Satan's was "You're not my dad." Son of Satan's was "You're not my dad." Yeah. And Hellcat had a catchphrase. Hellcat, I can't remember now. Interesting, that might motivate Blaze to take up martial arts, fire anything to be able to solve the situation without becoming Ghost Rider. Gives a reason not to use the big guns. I mean, yeah. I would even go farther than that and say that it would cause him to like try to live a peaceful existence away from trouble. Like, go live in some small town someplace, and trouble won't feel like if how I imagine Ghost Rider, it's supposed to be a curse. It's supposed to be Satan didn't just be like, hey, I'm going to give you cool superpowers. Everybody likes a guy, and most Satan is cursing him, and one of the aspects of the curse is you burn to death every time you activate your powers. So so I would have Johnny Blaze like he's like, I don't know, short order cook at some diner someplace in Montana where nobody goes, so there wouldn't be any problems. Unless the samurai. Yeah, what is it? What about that samurai? Superman and Batman and a lot of DC often used Great Scott. Yeah, I still don't know the origin of the Great Scott. Yeah, Robin was the catchphrase master. Hey, Torchbearer Studio, how you doing? How's everything? Wasn't Beth on one of those solo messages? No, Beth. Oh, the solo albums. No, Beth was on the Peter Criss song. Beth. It was on a regular Kiss album, but I now for the life of me I can't remember which one. Maybe people kept confusing him with Johnny. I know I was, or at least my mouth was, not my brain. Danny Ketch was my Ghost Rider. He became Ghost Rider shortly after I collected, so I followed and collected him from the beginning. Plus, yeah. That's totally valid. Somewhere there's a person whose Green Lantern is Kyle Rayner. My Green Lantern is Hal Jordan. That I grew up with him in the Super Friends. I love that costume, but I still don't like Green Lantern. I like the concept of the construct powers. I think that is cool, but Green Lantern has unlimited powers. If they limited Green Lantern's powers, I think I would like him a little bit more. I'm more. There may or may not be a character who has construct powers in my comic. But that's just it. Like he has construct powers, so he can make energy and a construct appears, but it's not like he can phase through walls or go through time or turn into a ghost like all the other Ghost Rider. He construct. That's it. I think Johnny Blaze was dead at the time. Oh, Johnny Blaze died. They killed off Johnny Blaze. Now that begs the question: was that like an editorial decree to make Danny Ketch, or was Johnny Blaze comic just not selling and they killed him off and then let's bring him back, but bring him back as as Danny Ketch. I don't know. People seem to like Danny Ketch. I don't have a problem with Danny Ketch. And then they brought back Johnny Blaze as Blaze. And if you remember, he had the shotgun, that shot hellfire. Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner. That was John Belushi Samurai from the Spider-Man. Yeah. So one of the issues of Marvel Team Up, it was Marvel Team Up, Spider-Man, and the Not Ready for Primetime Players. And Silver Samurai fought John Belushi as a samurai over. And that's where Silver Samurai got that teleportation ring. And what do we got? A fandom outside of seemed only the headliners or more popular characters had Cat Fighters. That's how you knew who was the favorite character. Yeah. Well, they also got written more, and yeah. I don't necessarily think like you need a catchphrase, but it is kind of fun. Hey, Luniverse, how you doing? Kyle Rainier was designed by Daryl Banks, who was an instructor at an art college. So we saw those pages as he drew them. You should have Daryl. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'd like to talk to anybody who comic, fans, professionals. Johnny and Danny ended up being long lost. Oh, did they? I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Blaze was able to exercise Zarathos in the final issue of the original series. That's right. Issue 93. What a weird. Yes. So that makes me think it ended on a 93. They didn't even want to go 7 more months to make it even 100. So that shows me that it was probably selling really bad. So they just wrote them off. So there we go. This is Ghost Rider 34. I got to find my Star Wars number 4. I know I have 1 to 12. Where it is, I don't know. My comic book room's getting a little disorganized, and I was cleaning it and organizing it until the doctor scared me about how bad my neck was, and then I stopped. On Justice League, Green Lantern had great guardians. Adam rarely used size matters not. Yeah, And Matter Eater Lad yells, Matter Eater Lad, food. Making up nonsense. So there we go. It just made me laugh. The patriarch. This looks like a job for a man. This is a man-sized job. That's funny. Male's here. Ant-Man had the Garrett Morris under them. I is Ant-Man. Yeah, I remember that. That's a deep cut. That's why Garrett Morris played the taxi driver in the first Ant-Man movie. Just a little Easter egg. Of course, now I get sleepy. Then again, I've been up for a couple of hours already. So there you go. That's Sunday Comics. Normally, I tell everybody what's going on for the week. So let's look at my calendar. So this week scheduled tomorrow at 5 p.m. I have James Q. He asked about Alpha Dog, so we'll talk Alpha Dog. I'll put up all the streams after that. Tuesday I have John Dexter, Don Dexter. Didn't I just talk to him? And then at 10 o'clock I'll be on Bat Sauce's channel, so I'll be on somebody else's channel. Wednesday I have Theo Snodgrass at 7 p.m. And then at 8:30 p.m. I'll be on RJ's channel for a comic book team up. And then Thursday at 4 p.m. Darren Watts. And then at Friday at 3 p.m. we're going to do a Crowdfunding 102 with Edward Arts. And then at 8 p.m. we will do It's Clobbering Time, Black Canary versus Elektra. And then I don't know what I'm going to do I'd like to continue the Star Wars, but I got to find that comic. But I'll also do Sunday Comics, Sunday at 10 a.m. So there you go. Johnny Blaze or Carter Slade. Carter Slade was the original, the cowboy one on the horse, and then they changed him to Phantom Rider. Yeah, I got a question. If Marcus is still in the chat, he probably knows. Was the original Ghost Rider? Is that public domain? Because they used them in FemForce. Was that not Marvel Comics and then brought into Marvel Comics? I'm kind of curious about that. Oh, Cyborg and Deathlock. That's a good one. Bring that up on It's Clobbering Time. I always ask for the following week. That's a good one. Today, the light for my podcast room should arrive. Then I can start. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, come on in. Yeah, come on in. Don't forget to like the stream. I like this. Yeah, hit the like button. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, super chat, buy my comic book, all the YouTube stuff that I'm supposed to say. I forgot to mention, that would have been a good one. That would have been a good one, Tyson. The Legion had Long Live the Legion. The Rangers had OK Access, Here We Come. JLA had Justice League Together. Terrible. Oh, yeah. Avengers Assemble. How did we forget that? Avengers Assemble. And then the Fantastic Four had the Fantastic Four Confabulate. No, I'm making that up. Oh, Johnny Storm, Flame On. Flame On. It's funny. Where was I? I was in college. And I was in a bar talking to some girl who when it had nothing to do with me. And a bar fight broke out. And honest to goodness, the guy, I didn't know any of the people involved in the bar fight. I was minding my own business. And one of the guys in the fight yelled, "Flame on!" and just started throwing punches. Man, I was rooting for him. I don't know what started the fight, but I thought that was, I don't know. I was like, all right, comic book guys getting into a fight. Conan or Cull? I have to pick Conan because I'm not really familiar with Cull. I think I have one Cull comic. Spawn versus Ghost Rider. That's a good one. Do it. The original Ghastly Rider is probably public domain. It wasn't Marvel at first. I didn't, because I saw some Carter Slade Ghost Rider that wasn't Marvel. So, when is it covers night next? I got my camera figured out. Oh, cool. I don't know. People seem to like that. I'm getting some good feedback on that. So I'll let you know. Maybe Monday night. Yeah, that was fun. Comics Great is usually something that I do it late at night. And when I go back to work, I don't know how often I'm going to be able to do that. Spoon! Laughing at me? Don't laugh. Venom versus Null. Cull isn't that different from Conan. Yeah, he and their ancestors, or Conan is an ancestor of Cull. Cull is like, he lives at a more prehistoric time. Slain versus Cull. I don't know who Slain is. Who you gotta bring me up to speed on who Slain. Ambush Bug versus the Tick. I'll let you in on a little secret. I hate the Ambush Bug. I like Keith Giffen, but man, I got like 2 or 3 Ambush Bug comics and I just hated them. Dick Ayers created the Western Ghost Rider. I first saw Daryl Banks' art in Justice Machine. Oh, that's right. That takes me back. Justice Machine. If you like Justice Machine, then you got to get that Mike Gustovich cover on Indiegogo. How's that? Was that good salesmanship? You have to. It's an order. So, Blue Beetle versus Black Panther. As much as I love Ted Kord, T'Challa's got it. Oh, yeah. Rest in peace, Keith Giffen. Yep. Slain is 2000 AD's Conan. Oh, I didn't know that. I did not know that. Ambush Bug took a Saint Joker and drove him crazy again. Witchblade versus Lady Death. I'll let you in on a little secret. I got a few Lady Death comics because I like what's his name? Brian Pulio. How do you say his name? I like his art. Right? Yeah, that's Lady Death. And then there's Dawn. That was a listener. What's his name? But Witchblade, I never got any Witchblade comics. It just looked, I don't know. I didn't particularly like it. Berserker versus Vandal Savage, the Battle of the Immortals. That sounds pretty cool, even though I don't know Berserker, but I don't know. I like Vandal Savage. I just like the idea of a caveman who lives forever. So Vandal Savage is this like cannibal Cro-Magnon man that's 40,000 years old. How about a battle royal of all the Conan ripoffs in Conan? I don't know. Lately, I have a soft spot for Conan because I love that Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. So, bring up all of these when we do It's Clobbering Time on Friday night. Cyborg versus Deathlock is a good one. It's a real good one. That's a real good one. Yep, the winner is Gru. The winner of that, of course, Gru. No one can defeat Gru. Randall Savage versus Ra's al Ghul. That's a good one. That's a good one. What about Alpha Flight's The Master? He's a Cro-Magnon man that's like immortal. The Clobber Time going to be good. Yeah, I'm trying my best to come up with ideas that are like comic book fun. You know, like there's too much fighting, there's too much drama, there's too much backstabbing, there's too much nonsense, and I look at it as it's supposed to be a bunch of nerds hanging out in a comic book store. Since we can't do that because of geological distances, we're doing this. And let's have some fun. Comic books are supposed to be fun. We're talking about people in tights. We're talking about people in capes. We're talking about people who dress up as bats. Why are we fighting so much? Why? Because money got involved. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And I can honestly say I think the money part hasn't got to me because my job is I'm a construction worker. That's my money. You know, my comic book and everything like that is an extension of my hobby. So this is still me. This is no different than going to the bar, drinking a few beers with your buddies, or going to the ball game. You know what I mean? So to me, this is still a hobby, fun thing. And I know people get me, oh, it's once you start making a comic book, it's not a hobby. It's still a hobby. It's still a hobby. Okay, it doesn't pay my mortgage. It's a hobby, you know, and whatever. I you got me ranting, you sly dog. And then Marcus always pulls me back down to earth. Remember, guys, the Mike Gustovich. If you like the Justice Machine, you got to get that Mike Gustovich cover. Murderer is Keanu Reeves' comic. He's basically a caveman created by the gods to defend his tribe. He's an insatiable bloodlust, and can slowly heal from any damage. He regenerated from a puddle of guts. Cool. Any old school comics legends interviewed on the horizon? I'm talking with a few. Nothing solid as of yet. And to be honest, I kind of stopped since the crunch time for my comic has been happening. I kind of stopped reaching out to people. So I got to get back. Money, power, and vanity, absolutely. Yep, it's just for fun in that way, absolutely. Next Sunday, you should cover the Spidey SNL crossover. That would be funny. And then, if you remember, there was a Avengers David Letterman crossover. X-Omen of War from I don't have any. I don't really have any of those comics. Valiant is another big hole in my comic collection. Unfrozen Caveman Warrior versus Captain Caveman. There you go. So there you go. Yeah, bring up the It's Clobbering Time on Friday night. You know, the last portion we kind of talked about that. And remember, some shows like this is closed. This is just me talking to a chat. Conversations, obviously, are me and my guest. And then a lot of shows are open. You know, like Comics Great is an open invite show. You know. It's Clobber Time is an open invite show. You know, I always thought Deadman and Moon Knight would make a good battle. That is kind of interesting. Hulk versus Solomon Grundy. That's another good one. And I don't want to venture opinions until it is comic. It's Clobber Time. So I'm going to close down. This was fun. Sorry that I swapped out Star Wars at the last minute. I can't find the comic. I know I have it. And another comic that's missing is Sergeant Fury and his Howling Commandos #1. That's like $1,000 comic. I can't freaking find it. So I got to look for that. The Living Money. How about Mrs. Grundy versus Solomon Grundy? There you go. Superman versus Muhammad Ali. All right. So I'll see you. I gotta take a shower, get cleaned up, and meet Jimmy over at my favorite diner in the world. Casper versus Dead. There you go. Casper versus Dead Man. All right. Thanks a lot, everybody. Like, subscribe, and if you can, please consider getting the Mike Gustovich variant cover. Thanks a lot, everybody. Bye-bye.